Hey, Gamecock fans, welcome back to Alumni Game, the show where we talk South Carolina football, X's and O's. And this year, 2025, kind of slogging through this season and this slate of pretty much top 10 opponents that will culminate this week with Texas A&M. We had a bye week last week, so not too much going on. We are without our guru here, Sam Niedermeyer, class of '06. He's not feeling so well, so we thought we'd give him the night off, hit the showers. Just me and Buster tonight. How you doing, Buster?
Man, feeling good, feeling great. It's Wednesday. We just got over probably the coldest 2 days that we've ever experienced in South Carolina in November. It got down Monday night to a low of 28.
Oof.
That sounds normal for you guys up north, but down here, anything below 40 degrees before December is an anomaly. So we bundled up, we stayed warm, and made it through, survived a winter blast already.
Yeah, we had some of that too. It was a little bit colder here, but yes, definitely feeling the chill. Probably
Yeah.
nice for the squad that they're going to Texas this week. They don't have to
Oh
deal with
yeah,
any of
we
that.
actually did receive some snowfall, literal snowfall, just north of us. So Lancaster, Edgefield, on up towards Rock Hill, which is about
Yep.
45 minutes north of Columbia, did see some snow. Now, granted,
Oh,
trace amounts
yeah.
nothing stuck, but hey, there was snow in South Carolina before the month of December.
It's
That's
ridiculous
crazy.
to say it, but same thing going on here. Everybody freaked out because there was some flakes, and it was the first one in a long time, probably since January, February last year, or this earlier this year. Um, so yeah, so I mean, anytime it's the first, people are gonna freak out. Obviously, not quite the same as South Carolina. Didn't stick
Yeah.
here either, and we're warming up a bit, so not so bad. Um, all right, so we won't recap everything from last week, but just check out our episode last week if you want to see some of the garbage stats is what I'm calling it from the last game. And obviously check out some of our previous episodes and anything else you guys find interesting. Some of the player profiles and Gamecocks of the week. We'll get into some of those soon as we're getting into wrapping up the season in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
So just a programming note. Texas A&M this week, Coastal Carolina after that, Clemson after that. I think we're all circling the Clemson game, so we'll definitely bring our A game for that. Let us know what else you guys would want to see in those episodes. Any other players that you want to profile for next year, or going into the off season, I should say. But otherwise, we are all about A&M right now. So look, it's gonna be an uphill battle. We know that. It's gonna be a tough one, but coach seems confident. We got to come in and unseat number three right now in the nation, arguably number one in the SEC. That's going to be a tough task. Initial thoughts on that, Buster, and where we're at
Uh,
just
yeah,
going into this
this
game.
is tough. After the disappointing season we had, we're having
Having,
that
yeah.
we're concluding. So we talked about this in the pre-show that this is the last game of the gauntlet. We did see the Gamecocks falter quite a bit in this gauntlet and pretty much lose every single game. Our last victory was against Kentucky. That feels like it was many moons ago.
Yeah, it does.
But we're finishing it up. We do have 3 games left on the schedule. And here's the thing: 3 games left. We're sitting at 3-6. If we win those 3 games, so A&M, Coastal, and then Clemson Thanksgiving weekend, we do become bowl eligible. So that
Hmm.
goal is still on the table. It is still attainable. It is a very uphill battle, like you said, because it starts with number 3 A&M at A&M, Kyle Field in College Station. It's a noontime game, and A&M is right now number 3 in the nation, and they are high powered. So
Yeah.
a lot of people, you and I included, most likely, in the preseason, we saw how we beat them last year, 44-20 here in Columbia. And we thought we had a chance to kind of build on that and be consistent this year with another victory. That
Right.
doesn't look like the case. And since then, A&M has upgraded what I think across the roster. So Marcel Reed is their quarterback. He's pretty
Hmm.
good. Not the best quarterback we've faced. Obviously, I think Ty Simpson in Alabama was one of the better quarterbacks. Trinidad Chambliss from Ole Miss is a great quarterback. Marcel Reed does enough, and one of the things he does the best is he puts the ball in the playmaker's hands. I that's you know I'm not even going to talk about the defense just yet for A&M because they're also very, very, very good.
Yeah.
Uh, but you look at A&M's offense. They average 400 and almost 460 yards, pretty much fourth in the SEC. They have only allowed 8 sacks. That's number one in the SEC. They score at a clip of 38 points a game. They rush for over 200 yards a game. Marcel Reed is about 2,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. And one of my favorite players, Casey Concepcion, the wide receiver transfer out of NC State. There was a chance last year that we thought that he might be coming to us when we had that big wide receiver
Hmm.
haul with the freshmen and then getting
Hmm.
guys like Jared Brown and Vandrevius Jacobs. He was one of those guys that we thought could be in that mix. Goes to A&M and has ended up producing 40 receptions, 630 yards, an average of 15 yards a catch, 8 touchdowns. I mean, this guy is just putting up ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
And that's just their offense. And so I like our defense. Our defense has played solid in spite of the handicaps that the offense has given them. But this is going to be a really tough matchup to be able to guard on the outside and get guys like Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion, in check. And to me, if can we get Marcel to force himself into some mistakes? I don't know, because it also depends on the most important side of the ball for us, and that's the offense. So
Yeah, yeah, I do think. I mean, look, I would love to be talking South Carolina defense this whole episode, but just can't do it. It's two sides of the ball. I would love to turn Concepcion into Inter Concepcion.
yes,
Um,
yes,
and we'll see. Defense could do that. I do want to just kind of reset things a little bit. Look, A&M's rolling, that's true. They have nowhere the schedule that we have. I mean, that
that's
doesn't
true.
that doesn't compare in terms of wins and losses. They have one every game. But I mean, UTSA, Utah State to open up. Okay, no big deal. Then they got Notre Dame. All right, that's a big one. That's the biggest one on their whole schedule. They were number 8 or are number 8. But after that, Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, all unranked. So the
Yep.
only ranked teams they play all year so far, number 8 Notre Dame, number 20 LSU, number 22 Missouri. Now, Missouri, LSU both beat us. So that is what it is if you want to go that route. But for me, and look, and they did it fairly handily. I mean, the closest ones for them, they only beat Arkansas by 3. That's interesting. That was a barn burner, almost 100 in total points. And Notre Dame they only beat by 1. So I'm not going to sit here and say like they look like a juggernaut. I mean, they are number 3, and that's what people think. But we got a chance here to bump them down. They lose this game, they would go under Alabama because Alabama will be 6-0 in the conference,
Right,
eight
right.
and one, 8-1 overall, maybe 9-1 if they win. But that conference loss, that would mean Alabama's the only one undefeated in the conference. That would put them down with like Georgia, maybe Ole Miss, and they'd really have to they'd have to win handily and then hope for something in the playoff or hope for someone else to do something. So we do have a chance here. Coach has been talking a big game about this, that we've been close, And I do think the bye week with the coaching change, and, again, watch that last episode if you want to hear more about that. But Shula out, Elliott in. That's
Fury,
the big
Fury,
change.
and Elliott. Mike Fury is going to be the play caller. So Mike Fury, the wide receivers coach, he was the head coach at Limestone, small college here in South Carolina. From what I've heard, he's got a wide open offense,
Hmm.
and between him calling the plays and instilling, again, we're not changing the playbook. Everybody should know this, that you can't change the playbook even with a
No,
bye
not
week.
now, not
Okay,
with these kids.
yeah.
Yeah,
But what you can do is take what's in there, tweak it to fit a system that one is going to obviously work for your players, but kind of go and work with what you have as far as in the scheme and identity. I see Fury, and then again, it's a coach by committee. You do have one guy that will be calling in the plays, and that's Mike Fury. But for the game planning and then the coaches meetings during the week, it is a group affair between Sean Elliott, Mike Fury, Marquell Blackwell, and some of the guys that like Davis Potter, who has taken over as the QB coach. He was an assistant under Shula, and whoever else is in there that works with the offensive
sure.
position
Yeah,
groups.
coordinators,
It's a group
assistants. Yeah.
effort, and you do make a great point, Mike. And I love the fact about this because this is something that I've tried to convey, not just on this podcast or anything like that, but in the idea of thinking about college football and scheduling. Yes, you are undefeated. You deserve to be ranked. yes, you can only play the games that are in front of you. You can't play anything else but your schedule. So you can't change the course by saying, "Oh, well, we're playing cupcakes. We need to like show that we have clout. We got to go play a ranked team." No, you just got to play who's in front of
Yeah.
you.
Until
That
you get
being
to the
said,
playoff nowadays. Yeah.
exactly. That being said, that does show up in your stats. If you are 9-0, that's great. You're 9-0. You beat the teams in front of you. You're supposed to beat, et cetera, et cetera. But if your stats are such that you are showing incredible looking output from your offense and defense, but you're playing against unranked teams,
Yeah.
naturally you're going to have bigger stats. So,
Yeah.
are we saying Texas A&M is not good? No. Are we saying that they're not bad? No. What we're saying is that based on the production that they've had against the teams that they play versus what we have gone through, which is a gauntlet, every single team that we have faced over the last 5 weeks
Yeah.
has been ranked in the
Yeah. Just
top,
qualify
like
things,
top 15.
contextualize
Like,
things.
yeah, so when you say, as a Gamecock fan, yes, I'm going to go out there and beat my chest and say that we're going to go out there and win. What I can say is we have the ability, and if we do right things that we did in the bye week with the right coaching and the right production from our players, a victory against A&M is possible, knowing how things stack up. And again, we can go through the stats. Our offense is absolutely putrid. 15th for the SEC in passing, 16th
Yeah.
in total yards,
But some
16th in
changes have
rushing,
been made,
15th in
right?
scoring. We
Big
are
changes.
almost dead last in sacks allowed.
Yeah.
And yet, we have also played Alabama, a highly ranked team with a guy that is part of the Heisman conversation in Ty Simpson. We played them close to the end until
Yeah.
we faltered in the
Yes.
fourth quarter.
And I think this is a very
Same thing with
similar team,
Missouri.
very similar situation, And I just think, look, unranked team against number three on the road in the SEC, not likely. No, would be surprising. Obviously, we're not on our home field, so no one's really going to storm the field, I don't think, if something were to happen. But again, keep it close like Alabama. Don't make those mistakes at the end. We have different play callers now who can do it a little different schematically. We do think the scheme will change a little bit, not the actual plays or the system. Maybe a little more up tempo. Like you said, maybe a little more spread out. That would be nice to see. A little more horizontal, as you say.
Yep.
Thinking like horizontal mambo, and that would be nice. Um, get some sexy time going on out there with some, like Rico Dowdle did the other week when he started thrusting and he got
Yeah, yeah.
fined.
And,
I'd be fine with that. Um, but yeah, just to contextualize things a little bit, the other thing for A&M, I mean, they don't have much after this. They really would need to beat us handily, beat Samford, and then Texas is really what they're looking at.
yeah, I mean,
So hopefully they
Texas would
overlook
probably
us
be.
and Samford, and Texas is what they're looking at, and they're just kind of sitting in their recliner at home, and we can bulldoze over. I don't know about that, but I do think on the strength of the defense, I think some wrinkles in special teams, and a change in play calling, someone who knows what they're doing here, go a little more horizontal, can be a little more proactive with these kids, and give them confidence that they haven't had before. This I would tag this game a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily throw an upset alert on it, but keep an eye on
Right.
it early at noon. We're gonna come hot and heavy, I think.
I
Um,
think so. And again, we have this idea. There is a philosophy in the way that we are approaching this game that is a potential. Oh, I want to say victory, but a potential stepping stone to change the program's direction.
yes, yes.
Um,
This goes into
it
the
is
last three
difficult
games.
because
We do
you know
this.
you
We do
you still
Clemson.
have to you look at it is still up to the players on the field too. And one of the biggest thing right now is where are our weak points? What is our most vulnerable position? What is their strongest position? And then what are we going to do to combat that? And right now, to me, it's their defensive line. Like they have Cassius
Yeah,
Howell
yeah, and
defensively, and
our
he's
O
got
line. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
10 and a half sacks, 10 and a half sacks already on the season. Like the linebacker, Taron York, 48 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, two
Yeah.
pass breakups. They are very strong on their front seven. And that's unfortunately where we're weakest is our
Yes.
offensive line.
And
But
then
like you said,
to
with a
visualize
bye week,
that, right? What
yeah,
visualize Sellers taking sacks. Remember how much he's run way back and when he gets hit, and then it's like second and 30. So when I hear 10 and a half sacks, I'm already to the tune of negative 50 yards, So Definitely got to lean on the running game. Sam's got some great notes in for us here. Thank you from the flu hospital. No,
Yeah,
from your bed, hopefully. But just to get back into some of the game stats to reset. This did open up at 17 and a half for A&M. It is up to 19 and a half, so it's moving a little bit. Over under at 48 and a half. So,
yep,
if it's even 25-25, something like that. If it's not, A&M in the 30s, us in the teens, something like that, is probably the two most likely outcomes. Um, but yeah, you make a great point. I mean, basically, our offense with their defense is, I think, what you really got to look at, because that's the question mark for us. On the other side of the ball, we kind of know what our defense is going to bring, and as long as they can bring it, um, for 4 quarters and at least minimize them to some field goals and minimize the splash plays. I don't care if they move between the 20s at all and kick
yeah,
field goals all day. That'll keep us in it. It does feel like, it starts to trend towards from there, like you said, their defensive line, our offensive line, to Sellers squarely, right? If the run game can do what it has been able to do some weeks, obviously some kind of combination Faison Fuller is what I'm looking for. Um, then it's really up to Sellers to not take those sacks, get the ball out of there, and rely on his playmakers. Hopefully Harbor, and I think the tight ends, because I think chipping on the edges, keeping him safe,
yep,
and then breaking away for a quick catch is going to be how he gets out of these jams. Oh, this
yeah,
linebacker's coming off the edge and he got chipped and he's about to nail me. If I can just get it over him, which I can, and get it to my tight end, he's probably got another block from the wide receiver. So even if it's
yep.
not going to Harbor, if you can hit the wide receiver and Harbor can throw a block, he's a huge body, and keep it on the edges to. I don't know that time of possession really matters here. I want to control things, and I would like to see some tempo. Sam threw that note in there too. Some flourishes there. Could tempo, or a little bit of scheme get us there, like different looking looks. And you said something about that with the bunches too. So I'll let you
Well,
go.
you make a great point because you. I love what you said. I don't care about the time of possession. That is actually a really cool note because if you want to expand on that, a lot of times coaches will look at that stat.
Yeah.
In their post game, they'll be like, "Oh, here's the discrepancy in time of possession," and they will say how that was the effect of these certain things happening in the game. To me, right now, the most important thing of us for us is not time of possession, is quality of possession.
Yes.
Can we get
Yes.
quality of possession? Because right now, I'm not worried if we have not necessarily sustained drive,
Go
because yes,
one
sustained
play
drive
for
is
80
very
yards
important.
and score. I don't care.
But like the idea is like at this point, what we are trying to salvage out of this season, I think it's more important to have quality possessions, efficient possessions. And that what that does is that brings Lenore's back around to the Lenore's that we thought and wanted him to be at the beginning of the season, because then a quality possession or an efficient possession shows that we're back in control. He's back in control of the offense. He's dictating the game flow. And that to me is more important because in the end of the day, if Texas A&M is as good as their ranking is, they are able to move the ball in between the 20s and they stack up a bunch of time of possession, but we end up doing the bend don't break and minimize their scoring, in the red zone.
Yep.
Then that to me is a success, no matter what the time of possession
Yes.
discrepancy is.
100%. 100%.
Yeah,
And I think in general, if you're going to go with tempo and you're going to be quicker, that's going to minimize time of possession. I don't care.
yeah,
What I'd like to see in terms of specifically, I'd like to see Dingle for like 5 or 6, not big yardage, move the chains, know that he's there, know that you can do that. Then that's going to open up going deep to Harbor, or Vendrivian.
Rodriguez, yeah,
Yeah, yep. Who has been sneakily absent. So I gotta think they're working him back in through the bye week. But I think that quicker rhythm, less holding on the ball for a long time, and leveraging Norris's mobility, right? So he gets back there, it's not there, go right away, right?
yep,
Or get back there, it's not there, not really sure it should go right now, throw it away, you know? I would love to see opening up, throwing on first down if you feel like the matchups are there. I don't think you need to push the run super hard, but I also think you need to go with a hot hand. I think
Yeah.
if you want to start with Faison and it's not there on the first drive or even well into the first drive, if we're moving, switch it up. Don't worry about, oh, it has to be Faison on first down or it has to be Fuller on third down. Work them both into the backfield and a little trickeration here. I think I think some wrinkles and Sam was getting into that too. With the running game is what's gonna open it up. What we've done hasn't worked. Um, some more RPO type concepts. I don't want to mess with handoffs, and I don't want to think about that too much. Anytime Lenoris is directly under center, there seems to be problems.
Mhm.
So maybe we get away from that. Maybe that's a center
Yeah.
issue. But look, if nobody's cooking it, give Attaway a couple of hands
Yeah.
and see what you got there. I would mix all three, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, and what I'd like to do is if we have three distinct keys that we can go over. And to me, the overall overarching kind of established key goal is a two-pronged attack that is part of these three keys. And the one of them is based on A&M's numbers on defense. They are aggressive. So let their aggressiveness work against them is that number one overarching goal. And we have three little sub keys that talk about that. And then two, and I think this is the number one most important overall key for this game is to put it in the cliche form, let Lenore's cook. But the reality is, I think it's more about we need to re-energize Lenore's
Yeah.
and get him back to the confident Lenore's that we saw taking that 3rd and 16 last year at Clemson.
Yep.
You bring that Lenore's back, La Heisman, Superman. You re-energize that part of his game, and then you can turn this corner and take these next three games and potentially win all three, go to a bowl game, and then B, more importantly, take this kind of momentum into the offseason, minimize your transfers out of the program, bring in some good portal additions, bring in
Yep.
a recruiting class, and we're back to where we need to be, to get that home run OC hire and work into next year and say, hey, we are that playoff team that everybody wanted us to be.
So you
So,
don't think
but
just to bookmark that right there for a second,
yeah,
you don't think this current setup, if successful this weekend or the last 3 weeks, could stick? You think it's for now and to get us through, and that there is a big hire waiting at some point in the offseason?
I don't know. So the message boards, and I think this is more because of the frustration and the lashing out hot takes, as I like to call them.
Yeah, it's the
It's one
time
of
of year
those
for
where
that.
if let's say we average, for these last three games, like 300 some odd yards, 350 yards of offense, we're putting up 30 points a game on average. We see Lenoris look completely different than he has in the first 9 games of the season. Like all those different things. Does that mean that Fury is the next OC? I don't know, and I don't want to speculate one way or the other because there's the camp that says doesn't matter if we blow it up the next 3 weeks and we are the best looking offense in the nation the next 3 weeks. Get rid of everybody, got to start over. Heck, there's the very vocal, very very small minority that's already ready to get rid of Shane, and then there's the other set that says, well, yes, let's go get that home run OC hire. But if that home run OC hire is already on staff and he shows out that way these last 3 weeks, then why try to go through a whole OC search and this and that and potentially lose some pretty good assistant coaches and position coaches?
Right.
To me, it's not. I don't care about one way or the other. My thing is get the guy in, whoever it may be, and have him have a chance to work with Lenoris and some of the playmakers we have. That's the main key. So,
Yeah.
what happens in the next 3 weeks? It's not. I think to me, let's play it day by day. Don't try to look too far ahead in the future and say, hey, the next 3 weeks are for the next 3 weeks. The main outcome for the next 3 weeks is to have a successful next 3 weeks.
Yeah.
In full stop. After that, we'll worry about that after those 3 weeks.
Yep. I like it. I like it. So look, we talked a lot about Lenoris, the offensive line, the running game. Basically, I'm okay with one or the other in this game. I'm okay with trying to establish the run first and setting up the pass, but I kind of think you should take some shots early, scripted, in that first drive. So even if it goes reverse and Lenoris is cooking with some combination of running and throwing, I'm okay with the running game coming after that if it has to, if that first drive is successful.
Yeah,
But I think in general, outside of what is scripted and the plays that they're going to pick, all of the regular stuff applies. And that is minimizing sacks, minimizing penalties, which they have done. They have minimized the penalties. So I'm confident in that. Minimizing the sacks is a really big one. We talked about that already. 10.5 sacks, is a
yeah,
lot from A&M. Um, and then the three and outs. We just even if it ends in a field goal like in the first drive, that's okay. As long as you can sustain a bit, get some rhythm, and then go into the next one. I
yeah,
do think anything less than field goals on drives is going to instantly start to kill us because A&M does put up a lot of points, and then defense has to work that much harder. Will be that much softer by the third and fourth quarter, and then it's kind of over. Um, but I think this new coaching setup has a plan for that. And I do think a lot of it's going to be about communication, right? And I think this second bye week came in an amazing time
yeah. You gave
where
it
we
a
can
great
make
time.
this change.
Yeah,
We could scheme for A&M. They're there for us. And it is possible that A&M overlooks. They're sitting at home. They got Sanford, and they're looking a little more at Texas and what everybody else is doing. Um, this has some of the elements of a trap. It really does.
yeah,
So I'm eager to get to my pick because of that. But we got a couple more points, and then I got
yeah.
Sam's pick as well waiting for us.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is you said it perfectly, and I think the three sub keys that we had talked about in the pre-show, which is trust QB, quick decisions, establish the run, protect and sustain drives. All that is based on the fact that if we can do what we did in that very first drive against Virginia Tech, and that was quick throws, move to the edges,
Oh, it feels like
everything,
forever.
spread the wide receivers out. There's so much in the last couple of games where every single formation was a bunched formation on one side of the field that allowed no creativity to the outside. It forced everything through this singular lane, between the tackles, which disrupted everything that Lenore was doing because there was not enough protection for him to stay in that pocket. He gets nervous, he got anxious, he wasn't able to be creative and use his abilities to the best that he has done in the past. So, for all three of those keys, have a moving pocket, get them out of the pocket, have them roll out left or right, find the open spaces, get the ball quick to the playmakers on the edges, move things horizontally, stretches the defense horizontally. Then you can establish that run game up the middle. And the more you do that, the more you keep the defense kind of off balance and on the backs
Yeah.
of their feet. And because of that, you're able to make critical second down plays, critical third and shorts. You have the ability to take chunk plays on first down, maybe take a shot on first down after a good first down or third down play of the previous drive or the previous play. And so all of that, what all that does is that allows the offense to dictate their pace and what they want to do. You do that, Lenoris gets back into the old Lenoris. The offensive line has some confidence because they're not
Yep.
having to try to hold a block within that tackle to tackle lane with 9 people coming at them. And then you allow your playmakers to get the ball instead of sitting out there and getting frustrated. That right there. And then, of course, obviously, the sprinkles on the top, the creative wild card plays, little jet sweeps, a little
Yeah, yeah,
trickery.
and then on top
I'll
of
take
that,
that.
who knows? Maybe the defense can get the ball for you. Maybe the defense can score. I don't want to see too much trickeration on special teams unless it's like a short field goal that you really feel confident you can do something. I
Yeah.
don't want to see any of that weird stuff we've done on kickoffs where we like throw a pass, a lateral pass on the kickoff. I don't want to do anything like that.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, I would say just not get. Don't worry about being cute on special teams this game.
right.
Worry more about getting the offense back on track.
Yeah.
With the special team stuff, will follow later.
Yeah, and
We
then
can do that
analytic
against
wise,
Clemson,
if
Coastal.
if the score is such that the book says go for two, then do that. That's not what I'm talking about. Cute. I mean, like, yeah, oh, this fake punt thing where he's gonna run or some kind of like weird sweepy thing on the kickoff. No, I don't want
Yeah,
any of that. So we are getting down to it. I think we've hit a lot of stuff here. Are we ready to pick, or you have a couple
yep,
of things
I'm
you
ready.
wanna? All right. So I'll start with Sam because he's not here and we want to keep him in the mix. Sam has it a little by the book, but he has the under. He has A&M 27, South Carolina 13. That will put it at squarely at 40, the over at 45. So he has the under. I am going the other way. I think I've mentioned reasons
Woo!
why I think it's a last second thing. I think they make a mistake late. We get the ball, maybe a field goal. I think maybe we get it by 1 or 2, something a little higher than what I wrote down earlier. I think maybe something like 27-26 or 27-25 to just barely get it at the end in a shocker at College Station early in the day to set the tone for the entire day. I think South Carolina can not turn the whole season around, but really turn it around this weekend with a
Yeah.
dub.
I will say this. I'm going to completely agree with you because I do want to win out. I want to get these 3 wins. I want to get to a bowl game. I see enough on offense for us to be a little bit more dynamic. We end up scoring 24, but A&M will try, and it looks like they might try to get it, but then the defense comes up with a stop. They only scored
Woo!
21, so it's 24-21 South Carolina.
All right.
That puts us at the under, and that takes us to a dub.
We're a couple of homers here, but you heard it here first. So let's look for a dub this weekend, South Carolina. And that will be another episode of Alumni.
Yay!
Cox
Let's
win.
go!